Hello, 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 crossroads, witches, and other interesting magical beings. Thank you so much for joining me. Of course, I'm going to tell you to hit the like, hit the subscribe, and if there's something that you want to leave a comment on, please do so. Also remember, if you want to find out more about me, you can go to houseofwitchcraft.com. And if you want to join one of my groups, either physical or in virtual space, you can find out more there. I am a folk witch. My particular flavor is Southern Conjure because I'm down here in the Low Country. And I was talking with a beautiful woman, and which is of Gullah descent, and we got to talking about brooms. And that a good broom will give a good whack. And when she said that to me, I was just sort of like, you're whacking on folk? And she was talking about spiritual whackings, how it is good for protection and for cleansing out the ickies and things like that. And I ended up in just a wonderful conversation that brought me home. And I wanted to start with, I got notes. Y'all know one of my favorite things to say here. And so we're going to talk about the broom. Woo, brooms, where we often think about it as sweeping floors or witches flying on them. And as wonderful as those stories are, the reality is this is a very, very powerful tool that has been used for a very, very long time, and it has a global tradition on how around the world people use the broom. And I want to give a couple of little bit history about this. Brooms have been around as long as there's been dirt. Ha ha, funny. Ancient Egyptians and Greeks bundled twigs together to create the early version, much like what you see here, of the broom. By the Middle Ages, brooms as we know them, where you start seeing the weaving in, were pretty much across European households. And at this time is when we started with the superstitions. That's where in the 15th century witch hysteria, they talked about the fact that witches flew on the brooms, and that we also used them in fertility rites, and that they were phalluses. And I'm like, I'm not sure about all that, folks. Sometimes I think a good urban legend is exactly that, a legend. It's not a lot of truth there. But what we do know is that they've taken on a protective household role. They've been placed across thresholds. They're believed to guard homes from evil energies and spirits, and that this is all around. I keep saying it, and I'm going to start with in China. In Chinese tradition, brooms are used to sweep out bad luck, particularly during Lunar New Year. Just be careful not to sweep towards the door, or you might send your good fortune right out the door. West Africa and the Americas. This is where we have the practice of jumping the broom at weddings, which originated in African traditions. This symbolic act of leaping into a new chapter was brought to America by enslaved folks, and it is still a very cherished rituals in many communities today. Now, over in India, brooms are considered sacred in Indian households. Stepping on a broom is thought to offend the goddess Lakshmi, thank you, who governs prosperity. So mind your feet and show some respect. Then within the Caribbean islands, and also we see over within Hoodoo traditions, is brooms are used to sweep away curses and protect against harmful energies. And these brooms were often crafted with herbs infused into them, like cinnamon and cedar, to enhance their power. And what we see is this universal theme of clearing bad energy and protection. Next page, y'all. All right. So, how do we use protection magic? Well, when it comes to the broom, it's sort of like the Swiss Army knife of magical tools. They can cleanse, they can protect, and they can even bless. One of the more popular ones I think we're all aware of is sweeping away negative energy. And that is where you are resetting the vibe. It's not so much sweeping the floors, it's you're sweeping the energy, starting with that intent, where we're going to get rid of the icky in this room. It's getting sweep. And it's a small broom is this, or if you want your full-size broom. One of the things I do, I know I like to do, and I know other folks, is that we will spray a little rosemary essence on our floors. We may even actually sprinkle a little bit of rosemary on the floor and sweep it, because rosemary is a very cleansing, protective energy, and we want to infuse that into our magic. Another thing you will see people do is sweeping sacred space. This is where they are potentially cleansing it to put it back at neutral. They can also use it to consecrate, they can use it to bless, and they can use it to open the space back up. Again, you are sweeping energetically, especially, if you're outside, you don't actually sweep your grass. Somebody asked me that, and I was just like, no, we don't. I typically keep it like about a foot or so above the ground. Again, those mindful, intentional sweeps. A lot of times I have a little mantra, some little chant. I may play some good witchy music that sets the tone for whatever working I'm doing, and basically dance and sweep with my broom. All right, and again, like I said, this is air sweeping, and within a lot of our magical traditions, we have seasonal cleansing. A lot of times you'll see during spring cleaning. And that's when you want, spring clean your space and make sure that you also sweep it energetically. And then a lot of times during Samhain is another time where you really want to cleanse your space. You're preparing it for the season of the dead, and you want to be mindful, and you'll use a broom. You can use something as small as I have, or you can use a full size. And this is a matter of preference. It's finding that tool that you bond with. I love my mini broom. It's traveled with me very easily to put when I go places, in my suitcase. And that way, when I get there, a lot of times I walk around and I do all of the corners of my room where I'm staying at. I open up the door, I may open the window, and whoever was here before me, I don't want any residual energy type things. As I spoke earlier, within wedding traditions, we find this both within the African and the European folk magic traditions of jumping the broom. There is some debate on the source of this. I lean towards that it was African, that it was brought over to us. And it was introduced to the Europeans, but we also have a Germanic influence, but we did not see that make it had not leapt over here yet. Okay, that's a whole academic discussion. Where was I? Oh, my broom is mine. What does that mean? My broom has a little amethyst stone because I'm Aquarian, born in February, baby. And I wanted to put a piece of me to my broom, and so that is what I did with mine. Personalize your broom. You can carve protection sigils into it, or you can put runes into it. You can, I've seen some absolutely gorgeous brooms that people have. We have some really talented art and crafts witch. Or you can, you know, go up to the home improvement store and get one of those good old-fashioned $10, you know, husk brooms that they have. It's over in construction area where the broom is. I have one outside. I should have brought it in. But I like that one out in space, and it's also, I like to dance with that one. It's got a nice handle to it. And I've wrapped some ribbons around it and things like that. You know, like I said, you can attach herbs, crystals. You can, you know, put, you know, pieces of herbs into it. Your broom, that's what I'm saying. Make it yours. And you can put colors, like I have ribbons around my other broom, and creating one that you feel like is your tool, your all-purpose, like I said, Swiss Army knife of it can do a lot of stuff. And that's what you want to. You do want to periodically cleanse your broom. You can do, there's incense smoke, words of blessing around the bonfire, sprinkle it with salt, leave it out under a full moon, whatever you need to feel like your broom needs. But I would recommend, you know, cleansing it periodically, all right? And once it is a magical broom, give it that reverence, give it that honor. This is my little happy broom, and I'm actually very peculiar about my little happy broom, where I know where it's sitting. I will hang it up someplace, you know, where you'll see, I think, you know, before where I've got mine on a string because I know to hang it up. I hung it around doorknobs. Again, if I'm traveling, I'll take my broom and I put it on the doorknob of the room I'm staying at as a form of protection. And just how creative you can be with just the humble broom. Sometimes we're looking for these big magical things, and there sits the broom in the corner, just waiting for you to pick it up and to start working with it. So I hope this inspires you, witches, to think about your brooms a little differently and start using them more. They are just the most amazing magical tool we have at our disposal. And with that said, witches, get out there, fly those brooms, have a bright, blessed day, and as always, amen, blessed be, ashe, and a bobo.